Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session. We were continuing with the formative assessment 1 revision, children. Yesterday we tried to understand about the different kinds of soils present in the Indo-Gangetic plains and in the peninsular plateau. We have seen about Bhabar, which is a fine sediments soil, got parallel to the Shivaliks in a width of 8 to 16 kilometers. And after that, the area which followed is called as a Terai, where you find the marshy and swampy region. So here the water flow underground in the Bhabar region, and they appear again back in the Terai region, which makes that region as a swampy region. And apart from that, we shall also learn about the highest peaks in different kinds of hilly regions. So you know it very well. India has different kinds of hilly regions like the Himalayas, Aravalis, Nilgiris, okay, and Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Different hilly regions are there. So when you look at these hilly regions, children, the average height of the Eastern Ghats rarely exceeds 900 meters, and the highest peak in Eastern Ghats, the highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Armakonda. And in the Western Ghats, it is Annai Mudi. So in Eastern Ghats, the highest peak is Armakonda, and in the Western Ghats, the highest peak is Annai Mudi. And apart from that, you also find this Armakonda in the village of Chintapalli, which are part of the Nallamallas, Velikondas, Palakondas and Sheshachalam hills, that is Tirupati hills of Eastern Ghats. One of the remarkable features of the peninsular plateau is that they possess the black soils formed due to the volcanic eruption in this region. And if you look at the Western Ghats, children, they run parallel to the western coast completely, and the Western Ghat has a continuous passes, with a few passes as a gateways to the coastal plain. The Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. That's the reason why the Deccan Plateau region is a west-east slope is seen. That means it's tilting towards the eastern side. And the height of Western Ghats at Nilgiris join the Western Ghats as they rise to over a height of about 2000 meters. And the famous hill station called as Udgamandalam, that means Ooty, hill station called as Ooty, is also located in these Nilgiris only. The highest peak in Nilgiris is Doda Betta. Okay, Doda Betta is the highest peak in Nilgiris. These are very important terms. Doda Betta is the highest peak in Nilgiris, and in the Western Ghats, Annai Mudi is the highest peak. And apart from these, children, the Annamalai and Kardamam hills of Kerala, and the Palani hills of Tamil Nadu, and Nilgiri hills of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Coming to the next feature, that is about the Thar Desert. Luni is the only river which flows through this. Luni is the only river which flows through Thar Desert. And this is a seasonal river. This is an inland river. Before it reaches to the sea, it gets dried up in this region. For that reason, it is called as inland river. The annual rainfall in the Thar Desert varies between some 100 to 150 millimeters per year only, and it occupies much of the western Rajasthan region, and it has a arid means dry conditions. Arid type of climate is present in Rajasthan. In the Thar Desert, arid type of climate, that means dry climatic conditions are present here, and these internal drainage rivers also fill into the lakes and do not reach the sea. If you look at one of the famous artificial canal that has been constructed by the government of India is the Indira Canal, which is the longest canal in the country with 650 kilometers. Starting from Punjab, waters part of the Thar Desert. Hence, several hectares of desert is brought under cultivation because of this Indira Canal also. And coastal plains, we have seen the different kinds of coastal plains yesterday. It's about Tamil Nadu, Coromandel coast, Kerala, Malabar coast, Andhra, Sirkar coast, Odisha, Utkal coast, Maharashtra and Goa, we call it as Konkan coast, and Karnataka, we call it as a Canara coast. And if you look at some of the lakes like Chilka is present in Odisha, and Pulikat Lake is present in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu border, and Kolleru Lake, a freshwater lake, is present in Andhra Pradesh. So these are the important lakes which are enriched with the fish resources in this region. And coming to the islands, children, there are two groups of island. One is Andaman and Nicobar, the other one is the Lakshadweep. Andaman and Nicobar islands are of a volcanic eruption, whereas Lakshadweep islands are of coral origin. Coral origin in the sense which has got the sea dead creatures after few years get formed as a landmass. So that is of coral origin. The southernmost tip of India, that is Indira Point, got submerged in 2004 because of the tsunami there. So this is the southernmost point, and the total geographic area of Lakshadweep is just 32 square kilometers. It's just 32 square kilometers, children, Lakshadweep island is. And some of the areas are irrigated by the mighty rivers flowing from the, as you have learned in the previous classes regarding the Himalayas and its mighty rivers which take its birth in Himalayas. So this is about the physical features revision, children. Hope you will perform your examination properly. See you in the next class. Thank you, children.